Hi everyone, Dan Tyler here. I just thought I'd take a little time to show you guys my process and how I go by, especially my weekly analysis and my routine for trading. Really, I hope all of you are well. All the best with your trading. But I think this could be really good to kind of help you establish a routine and rule-based approach in a way. So today I'm planning on focusing on cable. It's one of my favorite currencies to trade. It's very volatile currency as well, so it's traded quite a lot of the time. Um, and yeah, I'll go through exactly how I go through my routine on a currency, and I do this for all 28 currencies at the weekend. But we're currently on Tuesday now, and I always start off my analysis by splitting my charts out into four. So I have a weekly chart, a daily chart, a 4 hour chart, and a hourly chart, as you can see at the bottom of MT4 here. I always start off with the weekly. Always start off with your higher time frames because overall they determine where the lower time frames are going to go at the end of the day. Just before I do go into spotting exactly where my chart patterns are and where the market is going, I do use the 50 and the 200 EMA. So the 50 is the red exponential moving average, and the 200 is the green exponential moving average. And I use these quite a lot to determine where the market's going to go, simply because price at some point will always come back to the moving averages, and they can be used very well for what we call dynamic support and resistance. So you can see across the years and across the weeks that especially the 200 has acted as a very good dynamic resistance here. The 50 does get cut through quite a lot on the weekly. It has acted recently as dynamic support and dynamic resistance, shall we say, and we're at that level again. But what I always start off doing with my currencies is I always just take a quick zoom out just to see the bigger picture and see if I can spot any channels. I can see when we zoom in this way that I can already see a channel around here. And this sort of area there. And it's all about getting the line of best fit. So the more touches on that line, whether it be acting as support or resistance, the better, really. And I try and make sure that it doesn't cut through too many times. So it's more, I like it quite wicky, as we call it, where the wicks are touching it mostly. And then you just make parallel lines to get the line of best fit. Yeah, we'll go with that at the moment. Okay, so we've got our channel in on the weekly. There's probably another one here, actually, just whilst I look at it. Yeah. Try and get a line of best fit. There we go, that'll do. So we can see here that, look, especially on this one, you've got resistance, break, support, resistance, 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 and it's broken again. And it looks like we're in the process of actually retesting this channel line. We are on Tuesday at the moment, so we do still have the majority of the week to go, and tomorrow, Wednesday, being the more volatile day. Now, today, in my opinion, is actually the day to look for a good setup to potentially buy. So we can see just on the weekly that although we've had a down week at the moment, the two previous weeks have been quite bullish with a lot of upside momentum. And although we're testing this channel line, I think now could be a really good time to try and find that entry point for a buy entry. So that's what I'm looking at the moment. I'm not really looking at the dynamic resistance on the 50 EMA right now, because although it has been used as a good dynamic resistance in the past, I feel like the 200 is a lot more reliant on this currency at the moment, on the weekly anyway. But then we can go into the daily. Then we can start to see exactly what's going on lower time frames. So here people would think that this is actually ranging in a way, but I can see another channel. So I always put in my channels first, wick to wick. And again, it's just finding that line of best fit, and perfect. Look at that. You get 1, 2, 3, 4. And to me, we could be heading to the upside up here. It's great when you see a channel that simply goes from resistance to support, resistance to support. It's just kind of building up a story and a picture that the market is looking to kind of go back up here again. I use the 8 and the 21 EMAs on the daily. They are fast EMAs, but on the daily they can help predict quite big movements, simply because you can then see if the 8 EMA is overextended, if a price is overextended from the 8 EMA, and it always comes back and touches the 8 EMA at some point. So that helps you predict pullbacks if the market is overextended in any way on lower time frames. But I can see a channel here, and then I'll pop in my daily support and resistance lines just to see if there's so we've currently hit a daily key level, and it's just having a little bit of a rejection off of that, and we've got some support coming into play soon as well. It's just approaching that, and then I go down into my 4-hour time frame. So the 4-hour time frame, I'll put in that same channel, and it will be a little bit more accurate this time. And the important thing about kind of going down your time frames is you can pick one to use as an anchor to help you find your entry points, and whether you're a scalper or a day trader, swing trader, you can use. I like using the 4-hour as a really good anchor chart to predict bigger swings in the market. So, for example, I would have entered a trade here, entered a trade here, entered a trade here, entered a trade here, and so on and so forth. So again, we are in this ascending channel. We've recently had a bounce off of the resistance, off of the support of the channel, sorry, and we're actually on our way down to having a rejection off of the 200 EMA. When we zoom in, we can see that the 4-hour line, the 4-hour candlestick here is acting as a slight rejection, but I would prefer it to have a slight touch on here. So as we're in this ascending channel, again, I'll pop in my 4-hour support and resistance lines, and we are at a really important, really strong 4-hour key level there. Look, so remember that's a daily level as well. We're at a daily resistance and also a 4-hour key level. So this could actually be quite a good buy entry if you want to use any confluence alongside it. Then you can wait for it to maybe touch off the 200 and have what we call a pin bar rejection, where it's a long wick, but the price closes at the highs of that candle. I would prefer it just to come down that little bit more and give it a little bit of a touch, just for that extra bit of confluence, but this looks like a really strong level. So just to recap, we've got the weekly retesting this channel line, looking to potentially go on to the upside for the next 2 weeks or so. And we are kind of having a small rejection off of that 50 EMA at the moment. But I'm looking on the upside at the moment. And then on the daily, we have had that rejection off of the daily key level, but we do have some resistance coming in. We do have some support coming into place soon, and we're also in an ascending channel. The fact that we haven't hit this channel resistance at the moment tells me that this is going to be kind of going up soon. I don't expect it to go as low as this right now, because it's quite fluent in how it moves. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. I expect it to go up to this sort of level around here now. So then when we go down into the 4-hour, we've got even more confluence with it being at a 4-hour key level here as well. So this is where institutions and traders will be interested in building up a buy position. So it's just kind of racking up the probability that we do have higher time frame confluence as well. But this looks like a great level to potentially buy cable at. What I also do, just to kind of figure out what cycle the market's in, I'll put in a Fibonacci as well, which is one of the London Trading Institute's indicators. So I'll put in because we're in an ascending channel, looks like that we're going up. I'll put in the upwards Fibonacci. And we can see here that we've actually got even more confluence of it going to the upside around that sort of level that I originally said I wanted it to go to. So we're looking at around the 130.13. So the 130.13 is about roughly about there. So we're looking at I was roughly right. I think the market's going to be going up to here soon. So buy entries around this area. It could come down to here, and there is a key level there as well if this does break. But eventually, I do think that the market is going to go up here. It's predicting this simply because we have the Fibonacci pulling back, having a C pullback to this level around here. Which is color coded, so it's pulled back to the yellow fib level, so therefore we have a yellow target. And the way that I then decide on when I'm actually going to enter the market is I then use the hourly chart. So the hourly chart I use specifically just for my entries, and I use different forms of entries to kind of widen my opportunities, shall we say. So we can see here that yes, we have had a cut through the 50 EMA, but it's probably easier for me to do this actually if I just go onto the 1 hour chart. So what I do on the hourly is I sometimes look at the relative strength index to see if it's overbought. As you can see here, I use the RSI 6. It's just a bit shorter term, and I use the 80 and the 20 levels. So instead of it being the 70 and the 30, the 80 and 20 kind of pick out the extreme oversolds or overboughts, again increasing the probability of it actually being overbought or oversold, shall we say. So yeah, we're at this 4 hour key level, and at the moment, for me, I'll be assessing price action at this level. So the thing I like to spot on the hourly is when we're at a key level like this, if we see some sort of really small descending channel, some people like to call it maybe a flag. But if you see some sort of channel like this, sorry, that's a really bad line. Let's sort out the properties on this one. Just bear with me. So look, we can kind of see that we're actually in some sort of really small descending channel there. And what this is telling me is that the momentum to the downside is really being battled and fought off by buyers. So the price is trying to come down and buyers are instantly retracing. So if I zoom in that a little bit more, we can have a little bit of a closer look. So look, break, retrace, and a little bit of a sell-off, retrace, sell-off, and it's starting to retrace again. So what I'd like to see is for this key level or this little channel line just to be broken, as that gives me an indication that the trend is changing and going to the upside. So that's how I go on my entries. You guys can tailor this to whatever you want. You can use pivot points, you can use the RSI, you can use the stochastic RSI, you can use anything. You can just use the moving averages if you'd like, but as long as you build up your confluence with the higher time frames, your trading will get so much better, and you're instantly building a stronger picture and increasing the probability of your trading. So just quickly before I do finish, something that I always do on my weekly analysis as well is I do everything on MT4, and then I take the extra time to transfer all of this over to TradingView. So I'll quickly pull up my TradingView for you guys. And what I essentially do on TradingView is I copy everything that I've done on MT4. So I'm ingraining it into my subconscious on what I want to do in this market, because I'm basically going over my analysis twice over. And then not only that, at these key points, whether it be on this daily level, weekly levels, we're at this 4-hour key level, as I said before, I'll set alerts. So I don't necessarily have to sit in front of my screens all day just to wait for something to happen. I'll just get a notification through on my phone with a little notification saying at 4-hour key level, look for buy opportunity. But at the moment on cable, even though we're, just as a quick recap, we're in this descending channel on the weekly, but it looks like we're on our way up to the top of the channel resistance. We've had a rejection on the daily off of the 21 EMA, and we've got some support on the daily coming into play as well, and we're in this ascending channel, so even more confluence of it being on the upside. On the 4-hour, we're at this 4-hour key level. We're approaching the 200 EMA on the 4-hour. It would be nice if it touched it, in my opinion, but this level is still really nice because we are at a channel. We are at like a mini channel support dash resistance as well, building up even more confluence. And also we can see here that the stochastic RSI, which is something I like to use on TradingView, is really oversold as well. So it's kind of building up confluence that this is going to be going up at some point, in my opinion. And then you can go down into the lower time frames, and then you can just double check where is the best point for me to enter. So we can see that we're breaking and retracing the lows. There's limited momentum on the downside. It could go a little bit lower to around this sort of level where the 200 EMA is on the 4-hour, but effectively I'm looking for an upside movement this side, at least up to this daily level, and potentially to go all the way up to the top of the channel resistance. So yeah, that's just how I go through my process. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop me a message, ask me any questions on how I go about my analysis. But yeah, feel free to ask me, and I hope you guys find this useful, and hopefully I can do another one for you guys soon. Thank you very much. See you guys later. Take care. Bye bye.